we had everything going against us.
Yeah, we were young, we were broke, we didn't know anything about business. We literally started from nothing.
We were never supposed to make it.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Welcome back. This is episode number 13, right? Yes, 13.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 13.
Oh, dang, I thought it was 12.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
13 it is.
So it's episode number 13. Before we start, we just want to say, as usual, because we mean it every single time, thank you guys so much for subscribing and for going on Apple Podcasts and not commenting, reviewing and rating. We were reading them all, so thank you guys so much. And thank you guys for all the suggestions and the comments that you guys have been leaving and liking and sharing it. And a lot of you guys have been saying you've been dropping it in your team's group me's or WeChats. And so we definitely noticed and we appreciate it so much. So thank you guys for that.
Yeah, thank you. And we haven't forgotten. I'm still going to do that Q&A with the first 20 reviews. Problem is, I don't know who those first 20 are because it doesn't have your name in the username section.
Right. We forgot to mention that you should put your name in the review, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen.
Working on that one still.
But today we have a cool topic for you guys because I think this is something that a lot of people, deal with and struggle with. And so our topic today is
what to do when you don't have support from your friends and family.
Yes. So if that's you, listen on. If it's not you, then you're going to have teammates who are going to experience this. So you need to listen so you know what to say to them when they come across this. So let's just get right on into it.
Let's get into it.
Start,
I'll tell you, this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with in WFG.
Yes. Yeah,
it's something that I kind of struggled with in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, not having a lot of. I mean, I had a good top 25, but I didn't get a.
His good is relative.
Yeah, this is a topic that I think is going to hit home for a lot of you. So let's hop on into it.
Yeah, I think the first thing that we want to say definitely is that you have to understand a little bit from their perspective that they are not going to understand what you're doing, and that's okay. So you need to know that up front because you're not going with the program.
Right.
We're taught, I don't know about you guys, but at least for us, we were taught, you have to go to school, you have to get a good job, you have to work there for at least 40 years, have a retirement plan, and that's pretty much the program, right? And so for a lot of you guys, you started on that path maybe, or you have a job, you have a career, and now you're like branching out and you're starting this new thing that maybe is not even remotely related to what you're currently doing. Right. And so now your friends and family are going, wait, I thought you were a teacher. Yeah. Wait, I thought you were a nurse. Wait, I thought you were going to school because you wanted to become an engineer. So, that detour off of your path is what is causing that negative reaction.
Yeah, it's not, if you're a first generation entrepreneur in your family, which means that you don't have entrepreneurs as parents, you don't have entrepreneurs as aunts and uncles and stuff like that. It's not the normal route. And so not everyone's going to 100% just jump on and be like, man, that's great. Freaking kill it. Let me be your client. How do I join your team? Part of it's not that there's a difference between haters and then people that care about you. Right. They're two different things. So sometimes we just put them all off as haters, but that's not always the case. Maybe it's just that they're concerned, like genuinely and legitimately concerned because it's not something you've done before. Or maybe they had a friend or a cousin or whatever that, worked in the industry and it didn't work out for them. So a hater is someone who's just going to hate on you and they're going to talk crap behind your back and stuff like that. Mom and dad aren't necessarily haters. Mm-hmm. Aunt and uncle, not necessarily haters. They're concerned, but you have to remember that they're concerned from a place where they've never necessarily been in business before in a lot of cases. So it's not them hating on you. Their intentions are pure, but that doesn't mean they're going to get it. It also doesn't mean you should listen to them. Exactly.
Because like he was saying, they're coming from a place of concern where they're saying like they can't imagine themselves doing it. So they're worried for you because they don't want you to fail.
Right.
Your parents, people who really love you, they just want to protect you. And you can definitely tell the difference between people who genuinely are caring about your well-being and people who are just hating based off the comments they're making. Right. If you have somebody who's going around saying, oh, what, you think you're going to be rich now? Like, oh, are you rich yet?
That's a hater.
That's a hater. If it's just your mom who's going like, oh, are you okay? Like, are you sure you don't want to, keep going to school? Are you sure that's just her being concerned,
Yeah. And when I started in the business, I remember one time I'm standing at church and I'm in like the little walkway in between the pews. And I'm talking to a guy who told me my very first training appointment, he looked me dead in the face in front of my trainer and he said, Jay, I give you 6 months, you won't be doing this anymore. And I remember I was so mad. I still remember it to this day. And I was like, bro, how could you say that in front of my freaking trainer? So fast forward 6 years, that guy's standing in the pew after church. And I told him about that conversation. I reminded him. And he goes, he's like, when I said that, I didn't say that because I didn't believe in you. I said that because I have cousins who've been in the industry and they've tried a bunch of stuff and I've never, ever, ever seen it work. You're the very first person who's ever done something and it worked. And so the reason I tell you that story is because it wasn't him trying to be a hater. It's that he's got prior experiences and prior beliefs that he automatically puts onto me, not out of bad intentions, but just because he had never seen it work before.
Right.
So you got to remember that sometimes people's support is not that they don't support you. It's that they just have never seen success like that before.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's just so important to understand where they're coming from. But at the end of the day, just know that that's where they're coming from, but you don't have to listen to them. They don't have to agree with what you're doing and you don't have to listen to them. That's pretty much the bottom line. You can love somebody and not agree with 100% of their choices.
Yeah.
And so just knowing that and knowing that up front, and sometimes you will have to have those conversations where you're like, hey, this is my goal right now. This is what I really want to do. If you don't support me, that's fine, but at least you need to be quiet.
Yeah.
You
I tell people all the time, I said, we're running this appointment with you. It's for so-and-so's training. The best thing you could ever do for them is send them referrals, say something good about them. Mm-hmm. But if you can't do that, at least don't say something bad.
Yeah.
At least just say nothing.
Yeah. And I don't think that's too much to ask. Sometimes you have to have real conversations with people and say, I know you don't believe in what I'm doing right now, but that's fine. I understand. And that's all we need to say about it from now on.
Yeah. And here's another thing. Let's move on from that. Sometimes it's not that they don't believe in what you're doing. It's that they don't believe in you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't take you seriously because you don't take you seriously.
Yeah. And maybe that comes from things that you've done in the past. Maybe you started school and then switched majors. Or maybe you dropped out. Maybe you went back to school. Right. You started one job. You stayed there for 2 weeks. And then you went to another job and stayed there for, 3 weeks. And then you were done. Like maybe you wanted to become an astronaut and a firefighter and a doctor. Right. And you just kept switching. And so now people don't take you seriously when you say, no, this is what I really want to do now. Yeah. And so...
How do you fix that, Ronnie? How do you put yourself in a position where people do take you seriously? What that is called credibility, by the way.
Right.
It's that you haven't proven yourself up until this point as someone that people take seriously. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're the party boy. Maybe you're just the gym guy. Maybe you're the party girl. Maybe you're, I don't know, whatever. Maybe there's all your Facebook's full of pictures of you at parties with alcohol. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you've been in so many different types of businesses before and you just quit and start and quit and start and quit and start. So how do you fix that? What are a couple key points on that?
Well, I think the first thing is something he was already mentioning, which is you being congruent in your goals in your life and in your business. And what I mean by that is that you can't just be business while you're at the office. You have to be business everywhere you go. So when he was talking about going out and partying and drinking, and you see this on social media, people aren't going to take you seriously if 1 second you're posting about you at the office and you care about helping families and you're so serious about your goals and your fitness and all this stuff that's very congruent. And then later on in that evening, you're like blackout drunk and you're just posting all this stuff. It just doesn't match up. You're not serious at night, but you're serious in the daytime. You know what I mean? People aren't going to take you seriously. Or you're that person who just blows all their money, but you're trying to start a career in finance. It doesn't match up. So your goals need to be congruent from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep every single day. So that would be the first thing. People need to be like, wow, she's different. He's different. He's walking different. He's talking different. He's acting different.
Right.
He's really serious about that. People need to think that when they see you now. Like, oh, she's always in business clothes. Oh, he's always in a suit. He's not wearing the things he was wearing before. He's not listening to the things he was listening to before. People really need to see that. They need to see that congruency. And the second thing I would say is that you need to be consistent.
Yeah.
And by consistent means what he was talking about earlier, where it's like you can't start something and then stop. It's going to take a while. It may take years for some people, especially the stubborn ones in your family, to go, oh, wow, like she really made it happen. He really made it happen. And that comes from you being consistent and being just completely just absorbed with your goals.
Yeah, you can't just grind on days that feel good. This is stuff you got to do day in, day out. And sometimes you have to earn support.
Yeah.
And part of the way that when you're starting a business, you're not going to earn support walking around telling everybody how broke you are.
Right.
And how life sucks. Like that kind of stuff doesn't get the job done. Sometimes you have to earn people's support. People don't necessarily take you seriously because your life is a joke. And you can't just come in from screwing up everything and then you get into business and then all of a sudden, yes, you got a shot now. But you can't expect people to support you overnight. You got to earn that. Credibility is earned over time. Some of the people that don't support you, it's because they want to see you actually stick this thing through because you've never stuck to anything.
Right.
You've never followed through on anything. You have follow-through problems. You got commitment issues. You start and you never finish. And so you can't expect people to support you if that's been your pattern up until this point. Now, if that hasn't been your pattern up until this point, then you probably have support. It's a rude awakening when you get into business and you find out very quickly who you can count on. And it's not always their fault. A lot of times it's your fault. But you find out very quickly who you can count on. I want you to remember something, is that people will hang out with you because they like you. They'll go to parties with you because they like you. They'll go watch football games and basketball games and hang out and have barbecues and go to the beach and go bowling and chat on Instagram. They'll do those things because they like you. But they will only do business with you if they trust you. And so it's kind of a punch in the face when you get in the industry and you go, dude, I really expected these people to what the heck? Where'd all my friends go?
Right.
What it's telling you is that they like you, but they don't trust you. And trust is earned. And so you got to prove yourself as someone who could be taken seriously.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so that's being, like we said, congruent with your whole life and then being consistent. So those two things. And that's going to take time, like you talked about. It could take years. So start now, commit to it, and then just know that that's the road ahead.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool. I'll tell you one thing too. I mentioned this before we launched our podcast, I did an Instagram TV one time ever. And in that I talked about how you, at the end of the day, don't really need to be able to count on anybody. The person you need to be able to count on is yourself. You got to be able to count on you. You got to be someone that you can get the job done. And for me, really, when there was a time in the industry when I didn't have a lot of support. I had 10 recruits, 10 clients my first month and stuff like that. But we've talked about that before. They didn't stick. And none of those people are really clients of mine right now. Of all my family, the only family that are clients of mine are my sister. And that's it. My parents. That's it. My brother's not a client of mine. My sister-in-law is not a client of mine. My aunts and uncles, they're not clients of mine. My cousins aren't clients of mine. If they're watching this, you're still not a client of mine. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. Because the one person I got to the point where I could count on was me, which is that when things aren't going well and when things are tough and when things suck and I don't have momentum and I'm frustrated and I feel like my business isn't getting anywhere and no one's helping me, the one person, the thing that gives me peace and the thing that gives me some comfort and security and confidence is the fact that I know that that's not the first time I've been in that spot and I could count on me. Meaning that I know how to go out and get the job done. I know how to go out and prospect and create activity and book appointments. I know how to put something on the calendar. I know how to make sure I could get an app turned in. So you got to become someone you could count on. Whether friends and family support you or not, you don't need their support.
Right, you just want it.
Yeah, you want it, but you don't actually need it. There's 7 billion people on the planet. you don't need your Uncle Tom's support, who's a freaking gardener or a plumber, and he's not a financial professional anyways.
Or even a doctor or a lawyer.
Or a doctor or a lawyer. Or someone who is a financial professional.
Yeah.
They work at the bank. That means if they work at the bank, that means they don't know shit, just so you know. They work at, State Farm. Great. You're not a freaking financial professional. You're an employee. So the reality is that the only person whose support you need is yours.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, don't you want that reassurance that you got you and you don't have to wait for anybody else to come in and save you?
Mm-hmm. And it's more fun to make it with no support.
Exactly. It builds so much confidence. And the only way that you can build up that self-assurance in yourself is by going through crap. And this is part of it. Yep. The not having support and not having, the backing of your friends and your family. That's the first step. It's saying, you know what, that's fine. I don't need it because I got me.
That's the first punch in the face. It really is. It's the fastest, most common reason why people quit. Yeah. They quit within 12 hours because they get home and their friends and family go, no, I don't know that you should do that. And you're taking advice from people who don't necessarily live a lifestyle that you want. Now, sometimes they do have a great lifestyle, so I'm not knocking on that. But I'm saying that this isn't what they do.
Right.
And so if you want to be good at this, you need to listen to people who are good at this. Mm-hmm. And someday they'll support you. Someday they will. But then at that point, their ego's in the way and they won't necessarily tell you that.
Right.
But I mean, like my cousin, the other day, my sister goes to lunch with her and she's like, man, so-and-so, just like, it was so weird because so-and-so brought you up and said, hey, you've watched Jay grow up his whole life. Like, what was it like to watch him go from there to now? And she's like, yeah, it's been cool to watch. Like she didn't want to talk about it. Mm. And I asked my sister, I said, do you think that's because she's hating or you think it's because she kind of got left behind and she had a shot to do it with us and she didn't do it? And she's like, I think it's a little bit of both. But it's so much fun. It's fun to win with no support.
Yeah.
And if you could win with no support, you develop this thing inside you that no one could take away from you, which is I'm a freaking badass and I didn't need your ass.
Yeah. And look at me.
Yeah.
Self-made.
And then you invite them all over to your house and you host Christmas at your house. Mm-hmm. And you host Easter at your house in your big old huge bitchin' house.
And they can't say anything
and
anymore.
They walk up and they go, oh my God, what the hell happened? Right? That's where the fun comes in. So last thing. I think at the end of the day, the people who will be at the top with you when you make it, and we could say this, aren't necessarily people you know right now.
Literally the best people. And I don't just mean, they make you the most money. Because literally we've met some of the best people and they were strangers before. And by best people, I mean that they're kind, they're loving, they're good people. They like to help others and they're just amazing people to be around who they encourage you, they love you, and you do the same with them. And sometimes these people become closer to you than your own family.
Oh, yeah.
And you not having your friends and your family support right off the bat, right at the beginning, at first, like he said, it's kind of a punch in the face, but it's because you're not seeing the long-term vision of all the people that you're going to meet and the people who are going to see the same vision as you and share the same goals with you, and they're going to want to help you get there, and you're going to help them get there. And there's nothing, I swear, there's nothing that amazing. Yeah. Right? As you guys working together to hit all and accomplish all your goals. And they're going to be people who you don't know right now. But that's the most exciting part of the business. Right. Is going out there, finding them, meeting them, and just moving forward together.
Yeah. I want you to remember something. And then this is something I tell my team all the time, is that the length of your relationship is not an accurate judge of the strength of your relationship. So just because you've known them 15, 20 years doesn't mean shit. Right. It means nothing. Just because you've known them since elementary school and you're 40 doesn't mean anything. You will meet people in your business that you've known for 2 weeks and they support you and believe in you more than people you've known your entire life. Yeah. And that's going to happen over and over and over and over again because you're going to go out and you're going to meet people like you. Mm-hmm. People who want to win. People who want support. People who want someone to believe in them. They want to be a part of something. And so it doesn't matter how long you've known someone. a lot of times we get that. What really hurts about life is that our experiences sometimes don't match the way that it's supposed to go in our head.
Right.
So it's your expectation, which is I've known Ronnie forever, so I expected her to come in, become my client, and want to join the team. And instead, all she did was come in and ask a bunch of stupid-ass questions and walk out like she knows everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the heck, man? I've known her 20 years. Like, why? And so it's this expectation that doesn't match up with your real experience. And so life hurts because it doesn't go the way that we think it should go in our head. So you got to know up front going in that not everyone's going to buy into your dream because it's your dream, not theirs. Mm-hmm. God didn't put the same dream in their head, therefore they don't get it. And it's okay for them not to get it. There are going to come times when you have to tell someone like, hey, by the way, I don't expect you to get it right now, but you'll get it someday. Yeah. And that's okay. But the people who are going to be at the top with you are not necessarily the people you know now.
Exactly. And that should be exciting for you. Because once you get to that point, and we're not at the top, but we made progress. Right. And so once you get here, you realize that support that you really wanted very, very badly in the beginning, you don't really need at all anymore. Mm-hmm. It's a very freeing experience.
No, I don't even want it. I don't want my cousins as clients. I don't want my friends as clients.
Because you don't care anymore. You're around such good people that you're not lacking anything.
Yeah, so there's a world of abundance. Yeah. Now, obviously, I care about all of them, and I want to make sure their stuff's set up, and I would do it in a heartbeat. But they're not on my top 25.
Right. We're not losing any sleep over it.
So remember this. You will make way more money and have way more fun doing business with people that you haven't even met yet.
Mm-hmm. So go out and find them.
Go out and find them.
Yes.
Cool. Hey, guys, we appreciate you. We didn't want to spend too much time on this topic because the reality is it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And you can't change it. If you can't change people, then change your people. Mm. So go meet new ones. Yes. Hey, we could tell that a lot of you are dropping this stuff in your group me's. Mm-hmm. Ronnie mentioned it earlier because our how to fast start video passed how to prospect, right? Which shocked the heck out of us. Yeah. And so we appreciate it, man. We genuinely rating the podcast on Apple really goes a long way. There's over 100 rates already, and we really appreciate that. If you could keep doing that, even if you don't listen on there, go on there and rate it anyways and leave a review. And we're excited. Our goal is to continue to pull the topics that we wish someone would have talked about in the beginning of our career.
Exactly.
By the way, the dude who always requests the 10 things to do before and after events, we're going to get to your topic, bro.
Yes, we will.
So just keep on leaving it in the comments because we see it.
We do.
But hey, guys, we appreciate you. Lots of love for everybody and go win anyway.
Yes. Love you
guys.
All right,
we're out.